Hello! Hi! So, if you don't know, I was born and raised in a small town in Ontario, Canada, and moved back there recently from BC. And since doing so, I've found myself affronted with a lot of small town inconveniences, not just in the availability of things, but in the behaviors of people. So until I'm blessed enough to leave this place, I'll be unloading my complaints on a playlist on this channel that maybe you can relate to as well. To start, I want to address an ongoing theme that I have to deal with in what is called small town syndrome. Apparently, it's a big and annoying enough phenomenon that it's been added to Urban Dictionary, and I'll read their definition of it instead of something more scientific because that's not what this channel is about. Small town syndrome. When someone has lived so long in a small town that they form a sense of entitlement to themselves and act as if there isn't a relevant world outside of their town. Someone with small town syndrome usually is majorly concerned with gossip and events only happening with people in their town and let their life revolve around such meaningless rumors. Well, a little harsh there, Urban Dictionary. They act as if life is high school. Parents, adults, and children all engage in cliquey behavior. Cliquey? Cliquey behavior. People with small town syndrome usually don't realize they act this way and may be insulted if pointed out. People with small town syndrome may have lots of trouble adjusting to life in the real world whenever they move out of the comfort of their family and friends, also from the same small town. And I'd say that pretty accurately sums up what I've been dealing with my whole life in the people around me. The most annoying and actually dangerous of these tendencies, though, is the narrow-scoped worldview, especially during COVID. These were the people who didn't want to wear a mask or take any precautions simply because it's their town, their community. It's the same people they see every day, so nothing can possibly go wrong. And, inevitably, the people that ended up spreading the virus around the community they claim to love so much. People with small town syndrome not just don't think about the world outside their daily lives as a factor that can ever affect them, they stop caring about the nuances of safety and rules that are generally enforced as law as applying to them. There's the stereotypical drunk driving because it's just around the corner, nothing bad can happen. But every time I go outside, I seem to run into sober, awake, middle of the day people obstructing the flow of life because they think it's a small town and the minor inconveniences they cause shouldn't matter. Small town syndrome is people standing in and blocking a whole lane of traffic down Main Street because they want to chat to their buddy through the driver's side window for 10 minutes straight, rather than either of them just get out of the vehicle and safely do it on the sidewalk. Fuck traffic, am I right? They can just go around you, into the oncoming lane. It's a small town. It's fine. Small town syndrome is people bringing their untrained dogs into the grocery store because it's their dog. Everyone loves their dog, and everyone else is too considerate to tell them otherwise. Basically, small town syndrome addresses why some people have such a singular scope of view, but what small town syndrome is, what it really boils down to, is being willingly oblivious and downright inconsiderate. And the result of that causes other people inconvenience and an unsafe environment. And I say willingly oblivious rather than oblivious for a reason. It's not that there's no thought process involved. We live in a society, and people are aware of the laws and rules. Small town syndrome just puts a line of code in front of that information in their brain that says, but I don't have to insert behavior every other human is expected to do because insert singular arbitrary reason revolving around their personal experience or preference. And the latter insert just defaults to, I'm in a small town. I don't have to wear a mask because I'm in a small town. I don't have to stand off the road because I'm in a small town. I don't have to keep my pets out of food spaces because I'm in a small town. I don't have to consider other people's needs because I'm in a small town. My town. It's rarely our town. People don't act like it's a community unless it benefits them at the time. There's no actual altruism in saying it's my town or my community. They just use it as an excuse to be lax on standards that I might remind some people are there for a reason. People say they love living in a small town, but really, they love feeling like they don't have to hold themselves accountable for anything outside of their own happy little bubble. And this mentality extends past actually being in a small town. It resides in the people, not the actuality of the place that they live in, because they've lived there their whole lives. But my hometown, the one that I'm living in right now and dealing with all this shit, hasn't been small in decades. At least not small enough to get away with the shit that people think that they can. So this is a PSA. Check yourself before small town syndrome wrecks yourself. If you can relate to this struggle of your neighborhood's disregard on the pretense of being a small town, feel free to let it out in the comments below. I'm sure there's a lot of wild stories out there. Anyway, that's my little rant. I'll have many more to come in the future. I just wanted to contextualize what small town syndrome is and address it in case maybe you're facing that and you don't entirely know what's going on or why people are acting this way or how they can be so unaware of themselves. It's because of this. If you're in a small town, anyway. If people are like this in huge cities, then I don't know what to tell you, man. People just suck. So yeah, that was my Slady sage advice. Please take everything that I say with a grain of salt and act responsibly. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.